If you want to know what the best property investment you can make today, then I want to show you in the next 10 minutes how you can retire in as little as 3 years with just one or two of these high-yield multi-income properties. Now, there's two reasons why these properties make the best investments. Number one, amazing cash flow. You get 8 to 16% yields and returns with these types of properties. Secondly, capital growth. We've seen capital growth increases from $250,000 to $350,000 and even $500,000 once these properties have been built and tenanted. Some of these have got up to 5-year guaranteed rental returns as well. What this really means to you as an investor is that you can turn a $300,000 investment into $1 million or more profit from the income and the capital growth in just 10 years with one of these properties. Plus, you're getting $200 to $600 a week net income after all the costs once these properties are built and tenanted. Now let's talk about cash flow. These properties actually give you 5 to 9 rental income from just the one property. So this is a Queensland 5-unit design, and these are also built in Victoria. In Queensland, you can only have up to maximum 5 units. So you basically got a lounge area, a kitchenette in each one of these, a separate bedroom, a separate bathroom, and an outside courtyard. That's one income. Now here's your second income, third income, fourth income, fifth income. And then you've also got a communal area where there is a full kitchen with a communal laundry, which hardly ever gets used, that kitchen, because everyone's got their own cooking facilities. Now, you also got car parking on site. Now, in Victoria, you can have up to 9 studios legally, and up to 12 people can rent in one of these properties. So once again, you've got a separate bedroom, studio with a lounge room and so on, a kitchenette with its own ensuite bathroom. That's one income. There's your second income, third income, fourth income, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth. And once again, you got you also got a private courtyard for each one of these studios, and you've got a common area with a kitchen, a common laundry, and also car parking. Now let's have a look at Melton. Now this is the same area properties, but much different rents. This is the 9-unit multi-occupancy one, $350 a week per each unit, $3,150 a week it is getting right now, that particular property. In the same suburb, you got houses renting for $450 a week, $580 a week, right? So two of these houses wouldn't even give you a third of the return you're getting from the 9-unit multi-income property. Now in Werribee, same area again, $2,500 for the 9-unit property, normal house $650 a week. So you can see the difference. It's a no-brainer as far as investment goes. In Queensland, same thing, same area, different returns. This is the high cash flow 5-unit property, $2,519 a week. A beautiful house in the same suburb, yeah, but only $990 a week. So why would you want to invest in that property when you can have almost 2.5 times the income? Now let's talk about capital growth. People often think, oh, well, if I'm getting all this income, I won't get any capital growth. Absolutely not true. This 9-studio co-living gives $500,000 profit to the investor once it was built. It's the one that I just showed you. It's a 9-unit property. The investor bought it for $1,100,000 off the plan to be built. Now, once it was constructed, there was actually 2 of these built on each side. So $1,100,000 each. It was resold for $1.6 million each one of them. So it was $500,000 profit. You can see that it was only in June 2025. That's a screenshot of the National Database of Properties Sold in Australia, $1.6 million. And the rental on that property was getting at least $150,000 a year. Queensland, same thing. 2023 September, that property was bought to be knocked down for $1,080,000 by an investor. After this property was constructed, they had to resell it within 11 months of it being built, $1,350,000. They made a $270,000 profit. You can do this anywhere, right? This is the same property, in that area in Bald Hills, and a normal property is getting $750 a week. The high cash flow multi-occupancy 5-unit house is getting $1,900 a week. Again, one of our properties over in Ballarat in Victoria, it was sold in 2025 for $892. And after, what is it going to sell for? Well, we expect it'll be worth at least $1.15, $1.2 million, and it's getting $91,800 per annum rent, and it's got a 3% CPI increase guaranteed for 5 years. You've got a 10% rental guaranteed for 5 years with a CPI increase. Now, again, in that suburb, a normal house rents for $515 a week. Our property is renting for $1,750 a week, and that rent is guaranteed for 5 years with a 10% yield. Same street, vastly different results. This is actually me on site in the Ballarat area comparing two of these properties. So behind me, I've got two properties in the same suburb, right? Now, this one is a normal house and land, which will rent for $500 a week. The one next door to it looks exactly the same from the outside. However, inside is 5 separate bedrooms, 5 living rooms, 5 bathrooms, 5 kitchenettes, 5 courtyards, and that one is going to rent for $1,750 a week. Now, from the outside, you can't see any difference, but the big difference is what's on the inside, and of course the returns you're going to get. So one house, $500 a week. Second house, $1,750 a week, which is for this property right here. That is the difference between a rooming house and an ordinary investment, and this is guaranteed for 5 years. Okay, so let's just compare a normal property versus a rooming house as far as the costing goes. So traditional property, purchase price around $750,000. That's a pretty cheap property today in today's market. Your rental income is going to be around $605 a week, which is $31,500 per year, which will give you a gross return of 4.5%. So your net return is going to be around 3.5–3% on that property. So you're going to be out of pocket, even after all the depreciation and tax benefits, at least $50 to $100 a week negative cash flow minimum. Right? With one of these multi-income rooming house investments, your purchase price starts a little bit higher, $800,000 to $1 million. However, your rental income is $1,750 to $2,500 a week, and even more in some areas, which is like 3 or 4 times the other property. Your gross yields are between 8 to 16%, and net yields are between 6 to 11%, which is a fantastic return in today's market. Now, after expenses, you're getting up to $600 a week positive cash flow. It's a no-brainer. I'm investing in these properties myself right now. I'm converting all my investments into this type of property. This is an example of what one of these units actually looks like inside. Have a look at how compact and how attractive these are for potential tenants. Come inside, I'll show you. The doorway, pin code lock, security minded. See, it works, talks to you. You've got a separate lounge room dining, so you've got a little dining area here. You've got a full kitchen, really good quality, plenty of storage for everything, right? Lots of storage. It's already equipped with all the cooking things, plates, everything's already there for the tenants, so they just got to bring their clothes. You've got a little lounge here, and they got their own private courtyard. Look at this. Most of our rooming houses actually have these kinds of courtyards where you can have a couple of chairs outside. They haven't come yet, and then you've got a bit of a garden area, but most of them have a outside area, the ones that we're doing, because we want to make sure that the tenant has access to outside. There's also a clothesline there that they can use. And then you've got the bedroom, again, very spacious and separated from the lounge room. Look at this. Ceiling fans, reverse cycle air conditioning in the lounge room, mirrored wardrobes, triple mirrored wardrobes. Look, there's another wardrobe here, lots of storage space. So people love this sort of layout rather than being cramped in a little bedroom with a bathroom, sometimes even a shared bathroom, some other things that are being rented out. Look, let's have a look at another example of a rooming interior in a Queensland one. You've got a lounge room there, you've got a kitchen there over to the left, you've got the bedroom and the room behind there, and you've got the bathroom at the end there, and there's an outside courtyard there as well, that you can see, attached over to the right. So these are fantastic designs. The tenants love them, they're affordable, and they're all inclusive, so it includes all furniture, right? Wi-Fi, electricity. You just bring your clothes and move straight in, and they're very, very popular with tenants. Here's another example of a similar property, just a different layout. Once again, you've got the lounge room, bedroom, outside area, courtyard, and a bathroom. Now, surprise, surprise, some of the more attractive designs will sell and rent for more money. So we've got some luxury design. This is a Queensland luxury rooming house interior. So once again, you've got the lounge room, you've got the bedroom there behind it, you've got a outside courtyard and a kitchen with a full-size fridge. You know, as you can see, it's bespoke furniture, very nicely furnished, and a larger bathroom with a nice vanity. Another design of the same type of property, these will rent for $450 to $550 a week. So again, lounge room, bedroom, kitchen, the outside courtyard, and then you've got a spacious bathroom attached there as well. Here's a quick walk through one of these properties that's getting $130,000 a year income, and it is one of the more luxury designs that you can also invest in. Beautifully landscaped, beautiful design, streetscape, very good front from the house. It's got its themed inside, Las Vegas style. This is the common area where everybody can use. That's the kitchen and the laundry area. All the tenants will share that. These are the actual individual units, and there's the hallway that leads to the individual apartments. Have a look at that beautiful furniture. Separate toilets, beautiful lounges, custom designed furniture, absolutely beautiful inside. These are not just a cookie cutter type projects. These are actual works of art. They are all soundproof with 13mm, thick walls of acoustic quality they use in recording studios. You've also got, the fittings are, all bespoke fittings. You've got beautiful furniture in there. You've got full-size fridges in every apartment. So you can see large beds, study desk, outside areas and courtyards. For every tenant has access to that. There's the kitchenette, big benches, full-size fridge as I mentioned before. All the insulation is also recording studio quality. Air conditioning in every room, and it's also got a special electricity saver on each air conditioner so that your electricity costs will go right down. And again, there's your outside area. This is the best investment you can make. Okay, now in Victoria, as I said, you can have 9 studios. So let's have a look at the interiors in Victoria. They will rent for between $220 to $300 a week rent because they are a little bit smaller than the ones in Queensland. And look, they're not as this is one of the standard ones. It's not as luxurious. You can see only a small fridge, like a bar fridge will fit in there, small kitchenette. It's nothing like the other ones. And a small bathroom. So the rents are a little bit lower, but the returns are still fantastic. So this is a more luxurious design in Victoria. You can get between $280 to $350 a week rent on this one. And again, look at that kitchen, right? It's a nice little kitchenette. You can easily, work in there, and they've got larger courtyards as well. And look, the furniture, as you can see there, is quite a very nice, furnishing there. And the bathrooms, you've got plenty of storage. So these are the more luxurious studios, and they will rent for more money, which is not surprising. It's like, they're really like a beautiful hotel suite, like a 5-star hotel suite, some of these, if they're done well. So look, before in Victoria, this property sold in 2021 for $700,000. It was getting $25,000 a year in rent. After it was converted and knocked down and built into a 9-unit property, it sold for $1.6 million and with $131,000 per annum rent, which is literally 5 times the rent it was getting before, 8.1% yield. Who are the ideal tenants for these types of properties? You've got healthcare, emergency workers, professionals, essential workers, divorcees, and notably single women 50 plus. We've had doctors, we've had lawyers rent these. These are not targeted at the lower socio-economic tenant. These are actually targeted at the professional market. The normal share where you've got like a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, those rentals are much cheaper, and that's where you get the lower rentals. These are designed specifically to maximize the return to the investor. Here's an example in Queensland, in Boondall, in Brisbane. It was sold for $695,000 in 2022. That it was getting $25,000 per annum rent. After it was redone as a 5-unit rooming property, it's getting now $132,000 per annum rent, and it was sold for $1.6 million just a couple of years later. So the rents in that particular area are $950. So a comparable house in that area would rent for about $950. This property is getting 2.5 times that rental, and obviously it doesn't cost 2.5 times to construct a property like this one. So another property in Queensland, in Deagon, sold in 2023. The land cost was $475,000. The build cost was $600,000. It was a 5-unit property. Afterwards, it was resold within 11 months. Well, it was actually sold within a couple of years, but it was sold within 11 months of it being constructed for a $345,000 profit to the investor, and it was getting $131,000 per annum rent. So imagine if this was your portfolio, just 2 properties give you a huge $261,000 rent per annum. That's $5,019 per week. Now these are the Queensland ones, right? We've got some obviously smaller and cheaper ones as well. So give us a call. In Victoria, we've got some properties that are getting 10% guaranteed yields with CPI increases, guaranteed for 5 years. So you guaranteed $91,500 in year 1. From just one $890,000 investment. And the non-studio investments there can get you up to 14% yields and even higher, but they are more expensive. The one thing I've got to tell you is that time is running out, so please don't hesitate. Give me a call. I can answer any questions you want. I can send you detailed information on the costings, on the, what it costs to run these management. I've got all those numbers for you, right? Just contact us or my team, and I'll give you all that information. But I am all in on these properties with my own investments, and I have been investing my whole life. I've bought 25 properties in my life, and I believe these are the best investments you can make in the market today. So give me a call and let's have a chat, and we'll see whether we've got something that can suit you and help you retire a lot faster. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey there guys, John Gian here. First of all, I want to congratulate you for actually turning up today. You know what? Success is really easy. You just, sometimes you just have to turn up. I first had the opportunity to bump into some of Peter's information about 12 years ago. And since that period of time, the revenue that I've generated, I can attribute to those early beginnings with Peter, which is in the multiple millions of dollars. If you really sit there and really get it and see how it applies to your life, let me say this to you. I know this is going to be a big statement, but you will never be broke again. If you really sit there and you embrace this information, that's a big call. You'll never be broke again. What Peter's techniques has enabled me to do is grow a really quick business, fast profits, and then I've rolled that into real estate. So I've had the opportunity to live an amazing lifestyle, travel first class, 5-star hotels, latest model Mercedes, live in multi-million-dollar homes, but still have enough money to put into real estate and build a massive real estate portfolio as well. So my system is business, put stuff into real estate, right? And that's how the billionaires do it, the multi-millionaires do it, and that's how I suggest you do it as well. So thanks for giving me the opportunity, Pete, to shoot this video.
Hi, my name's Nessie Rose, and I'm a single wage earner for whom property investing was a bit of a scary experience for me. I've known Peter Sun for over 15 years. Peter has lots of experience in property investing for himself, and this really helped me making my first property investment a lot easier. I was really hesitant. I had no experience in property investing myself, but now I've made over $350,000 profit in less than 4 years, and I am so looking forward to buying another one soon.
The new fractional rooming and co-living investments looks like a great opportunity for people starting out on their investment journey. My name's Shane and I live in Melbourne, and I've known Peter Sun for a long time. We met quite a few years ago and hit it off straight away, discussing real estate and real estate opportunities. Since then, we've bought properties in similar areas and locations, and I've continued to get advice from Pete ever since. So so he's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of books on investment that you could gain a lot of experience from him.